So for the longest time, I've always wanted one of these. But the problem is, they run about $20,000. So I decided we're gonna make one. So we headed to the one and only place you can buy a brand new Tracker 1436 all-weld and got one loaded in the truck. So it's time to get started, and guys, I'm gonna make this as relatable as possible. This right here is a 2024 Tracker Grizzly 1436, and we're gonna build this thing out to be just as fully functional as my 19-foot bass boat right there. So now you guys are probably wondering how we're gonna take this John boat and turn it into a bass boat like that one over there. Well, that's where my friends over at Tiny Boat Nation come in. As you guys can see here, there's a pile of materials that we're gonna be using to build the boat. All these materials are available at Tiny Boat Nation, but the best part is when I'm done with this boat build, you guys at home are gonna be able to purchase a kit that has all these materials in it that's available on the website to purchase and get shipped right to your door. Okay, so here's my game plan. We're gonna put a lid in the front seat, a lid in the bow of the boat, a full casting deck with a recessed foot pedal for the trolling motor, and then a full casting deck in the rear. So let's start building the front deck. Okay, we're gonna start by grabbing some angle, get the front of our frame kind of put together. Okay, so we need to put a deck in the front. I'm gonna measure this bench seat and this bench seat and put horizontal framing in that way. I'll tell you afterward exactly how I did it, but we're just gonna measure these bench seats and cut a piece of angle. Really quickly, we're gonna pause the build because today's video is brought to you by Goldenmate. When it comes to boating, you need batteries. And this boat build is gonna be powered by Goldenmate batteries. Whether you're on the water, off-grid, or on the move, this waterproof, high-performance lithium battery is built to keep you powered up and connected. With Bluetooth monitoring, IP67 waterproof rating, and 4,000 plus cycles, it's the ultimate solution for RVs, boats, solar setups, and more. I'm gonna be installing this battery right here to run my trolling motor, and I even have another one that is gonna power all my electronics. These batteries are lightweight and they're just all around awesome. If you guys are interested in a Goldenmate battery, check out the link in the description. You can get them on Amazon. So hit that link, grab one for yourself, and let's get back to the video. So you guys will see we have a deck pretty much in place. We use the middle bench seat to fasten a piece of angle to, and the front bench seat to fasten a piece of angle to. From there, I took two pieces of angle and I fastened them together like a T. So as you guys can see, we're kind of getting our cutout of our lid. And then from there, we'll get the lid in place and finish the rest of the decking. If you guys are intimidated by this, it's honestly not hard. Just take your time, it's not rocket science. That's the biggest key factor in all this. Just take your time because you don't want to waste material and you'll be fine. So let's get the rest of the deck built. All right, this thing is coming along. We've made a lot of progress and a giant mess. We're almost done with the front deck, but we gotta get in a few more supports. I wanted to stop here and show you guys this. As you guys see by my saw, I have a bunch of leftover scrap pieces. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use that material to cut up into small pieces, and these are gonna become bracing for the inside of my vertical framing. This is the way that I'm gonna do it, and I think it uses less material this way. So let's get after it. Woo! We stayed up late last night, but we got the whole front deck finished. Honestly, it looks way more complex than it really is. We essentially just put framing everywhere that I'm going to be stepping. But now for the scary part. I want to put a tackle storage in this bench. Nothing like buying a 2024 boat brand new and then just taking a saw to the bench seat. Risky business, and I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a little nervous because I bought this boat brand new from Bass Pro. Theoretically, the boat should be fine, but like, it's never been in the water. Let's just say in the off chance that this thing leaks or something, are they gonna warranty it? Probably not. So I probably should have put it in water before doing this whole extravaganza, but let's hope she floats. And the front deck is pretty much done. As you guys can see, we have everything framed with that angle, and then I cut a hole in the front bench seat for this latch. Now, if you guys want to get this kit, you're going to be able to option all this stuff. So if you don't want to go the extra step and cut out the bench seat because you just want the compartment in the front deck, you can do that. It's all going to be optioned out so you guys can save money and get what's best for you. But what we have to do now is put in this aluminum sheeting. This is gonna be the fun part. Cutting this stuff is never fun, but if you do everything with templates, trace it, and then cut it, it's not too bad. I got my dad here as an extra hand to help me out. We get all this on here today, and then we'll be ready for the EVA foam. All right, things are coming together amazing. The front deck is on, and for the most part, we're halfway there. The front deck is in. We got the bench hatch, the main hatch, the foot pedal, and where the trolling motor is going to be mounted. All of that's laid out, and I painted the lids so that they match the color of the sea deck, and there's just not like chrome showing through it. So now we got to put the floor in, and we actually got a bunch of shipments in that I want to show you guys. So let's go check out what came in the mail. All right, so first things first, we have our Hydro Turf. I went with this Gator Camo Hydro Turf. You guys can get this at Tiny Boat Nation as well. Along with that, we have the one thing that I'm super excited about. I might be the only one that I know who have done this with a 1436. How cool is this? We're going to be installing a center console so that we can drive this thing around. The only downside to this guy right here is you'll notice that the OD green does not match whatsoever. So we're gonna have to come up with a solution to repaint this somehow. And then to finish it all off, the last shipment is a steering system. So now the plan for the floor. You guys will notice it's already kind of laid out. These are just bits and pieces. Some I cut, some I didn't, but this is not installed. It's just my plan on what I want to do. I'm gonna try and box out the floor. I'm gonna use insulation foam for support underneath the aluminum sheeting, but I also need to hide things like throttle cables, the steering cable, all the things that are gonna be running to the back of the boat. So I'm doing it this way. Again, I'm just gonna do this. If you guys wanna learn more about how I did all this stuff, I'll make an additional video after this one explaining all the ins and outs of what I did here. But I gotta focus because this has to be very strategically done for my situation, especially since I'm adding that center console. So let's get to work. So you guys will notice that I had the floor laid out in the previous shot. We immediately went to installing our jack plate. I had to get a motor on this thing, and before we closed up the floor, it was so important that we ran all the cables, controls directly underneath the floor. So you guys will notice I have my 9.9 on the back. From there, we painted the center console. I actually found a green match from Sherwin-Williams. I cut out a part of the bench seat, brought it into the store, and they color matched it for me. From there, we then cut into it and fit it for all the electrical panel I was putting in there, and then we laid the floor back in. We used 2-inch foam and we framed it in directly over all the cables and stuff, and then centered our console. In the midst of this, a lot of the footage got lost, but you guys can see here, I had all the 090 cut perfectly square, and it honestly just dropped right into the floor. It was pretty much cut to size. I just had to leave a channel down the middle in case I ever wanted to access those cables. And you guys will notice that the boat is now sitting on a trailer. I ended up in the middle of this build finding a trailer on Facebook Marketplace that had potential, so I went ahead, tore it apart, and repainted the whole thing. I got all new hubs, bearings, things like that, even bunks, and essentially just made a fully new custom trailer. It also didn't have lights on the back, so I went ahead and welded custom trailer lights on there as well. I'll show you guys more on that when the boat build is finished. So yeah, we pretty much are wrapping it up as fast as we can. We got everything tidied up, and then we finished it off with the HydroTurf. HydroTurf can be a pain in the butt. I'll be straight up honest with you guys. It's not hard to do, but it's definitely frustrating because the whole time you're worried about not screwing it up. It's not cheap. You want to make sure you maximize every sheet, so I recommend having as many people as possible. As you can see, I have my dad and one of my buddies helping me out. The more, the merrier when it comes to having hands. So we started in the deck, went onto the floor, and then finished off in the back deck. And it's pretty simple. You cut to size, peel and stick. Make sure you guys work your way back so that there's no bubbles. As you guys can see here, I have my buddy holding it, my dad on the other side pushing one side, me on the other, and we just kind of work it back with our hand and it falls right into place. So yeah, there's a lot of missing pieces to this. Life kind of got in the way in this build, but... And then the last thing we needed after the HydroTurf was the trolling motor, so I put the bracket on, and then I picked up a trolling motor from Facebook Marketplace, got that thing installed, and that was about it. So now I guess it's time that we wrap things up and show you guys the full build.
All right, guys, finished product. Bam. Looks really good. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. And honestly, guys, building this boat was not hard. It was all done, basic tools in my garage. This is a 1436 Tracker Grizzly all weld. We have a floor, we have a back deck, we have a front deck in 2 compartments. It came out awesome. We have the front compartment with a latch. I made sure it opened up that way so that it wouldn't, interfere with the console up here. Then I have another big compartment here that holds just about everything I need. If you look down in there, you'll also be able to tell that there's extra storage up front that fits all my life jackets and safety gear that's required in the boat. Up in the front, we have our trolling motor with the recessed foot pedal. I love the way this turned out. Everything kind of fit compact perfectly. We even have a Garmin 93 SV up front for live scope. I made this transferable to the front of the boat in case I wanted it for just cruising around. So I can actually just detach my ram mount here and then move it up to right here where I have extra attachments and a transducer in the rear. For me, I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on graphs considering I had them on my bass boat. So I just made them transferable to both boats because you can actually go on Amazon and buy these plastic, I don't know what you call them, like the mount for them. The thing that the graph clicks into. So these are 50 bucks. I just bought 4 of them for every portion of my boat, and then I have 2 graphs that I can just click in wherever I need them. Worked out great for me. Everything came out awesome. The floor is super solid. At first, I wasn't gonna put one in, but I'm really glad that I did. And I think my favorite part of the whole build is this little center console here. I found a mini steering wheel. I think this is an 11-inch steering wheel that I got on Amazon. It works great paired with the Mercury. Finding a control system that worked this way was really difficult, but I got this one on Amazon as well. It was like 100 bucks. And it ended up being universal, so I was able to flip the shifter from this side to this side. Ran all my cables through the floor. You guys will see I have all my switches right here. So I have master power, I have USBs for your phone, I have bilge pump, I have lights and all that nonsense. You guys get the gist. So that's all there. The batteries are in that front compartment. I even got a little LCD radio hooked up to a tower speaker. And then in the back, we have another lid just to cover up my battery, my gas tank, things like that. This still needs kind of some straightening up, but it works for me. For those of you who are wondering why I have a little lawn and garden battery in there, I simply did that just for the sake of weight. I wanted to make this thing as light as physically possible. And I did that instead of putting in a 60-pound deep cycle battery. People will probably disagree with that, but this is a 9.9. I don't take this boat on any bodies of water that I could get stranded on if for some reason I couldn't start my motor. 1, I have a pool cable, so we're good to go. 2, I can use my trolling motor up front. So that is why I went with that, and it works out great. We ended up going with a Mercury 9.9 Pro kicker, and we're gonna do a video here putting this thing in the water next. So if you guys wanna know speed tests and everything like that, we'll have that coming for you soon. And then finishing the back off, you guys will see we included some trailer straps. We put a jack plate that I got. The reason I'm running a jack plate is because I got this motor for 1,500 bucks. It was a really good deal and it was a long shaft, so I wanted to make sure that could kind of properly work on the boat. And we even got my taillights that I ended up adding on here. These are really awesome. I'm kind of proud of that. I had these whole fixtures welded on myself, and it just looks slick. I even got aftermarket wheels and tires. If you guys saw when I was redoing the trailer, everything was rusted out. The hubs were super bad, bearings were super bad. So we put all new hubs, bearings, and even some aftermarket wheels and tires on this thing just to make it look awesome. So overall, this build is super easy to do. You can do it at home in your own garage. And the best part of it all is there should be a link in the description by the end of this video to where you guys can get a kit to build out a 1436 yourself. I teamed up with Tiny Boat Nation and they allowed me to essentially take all the materials that I use for this boat, put them into a kit so you guys can order it and do something like this yourself. Stuff like this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for my friends over at Tiny Boat Nation. So huge shout out to my buddies over there. You guys know who you are. Literally my biggest supporters when it comes to this stuff. With that being said, if you guys want to see this thing on the water in full action, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned because we're about to hook this thing up to the truck, get it in the water, and see how fast it goes, see how it handles, and really test the Grizzly All Weld because a lot of people on Facebook have been complaining that these welds are falling apart. So hopefully I'm not one of those people. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry it's been a long time since you see my face. We're back. See you guys in the next one.